We are now ready to master the circle of fifths. By now we should be getting comfortable with the structure of the major scale and its relationships. You've unwittingly already began learning the minor keys. Each major key has a corresponding minor key. That is, for each major scale there exists another scale parallel with it, and its parallel contains the same notes. By examining the circle of fifths, we can find the key that is parallel with the major key. So for C major, its parallel is A minor. If we know how to play C major, then we certainly know how to play A minor, because both keys contain the exact same notes. The same is true for G major. Its parallel is E minor. Both keys have only one sharp key, the F sharp. What does this mean for us as composers? You may have also noticed the sharp and flat symbols in the circle of fifths. As we count up in fifths, our number of sharps increase. This is a convenient coincidence for us in music. As a musician, you may use this to your advantage, because if you can associate the number of sharps in your mind with a key, you can quickly recall how to play the scale. You should begin memorizing the order of the sharps. The first sharp in the circle of fifths is the F sharp key. Next on the circle of fifths, we have the C sharp key. Remember how to find our scale? Use the major scale formula and you can formalize your scale. This is fine. However, if you remember the order of sharps, you can, with a much quicker pace, find the notes in any key. The circle of fifths also presents more than just finding the notes in a key. Often, music has a variety. Playing with the same notes in a melody and the same chords again and again could become boring to our ears. To avoid this predictability in music, we can change our keys during a song. For contrast, the closer our original key is to our new key, the more likely the transition will be successful and more graceful. However, there are no rules or limitations. I am now going to demonstrate how to use the major scale formula to find the notes in all the major keys. If you're comfortable doing this yourself, you may skip to the next video. Just as the major scale has a formula, there's also a formula for the minor scale. Click the link to go to the video for this tutorial. However, with the circle of fifths, we only need to use the major scale formula. So you may continue even if you don't know the minor scale formula. So beginning on C, we will use the major scale formula to find the C major scale. So starting on C, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step. C major. Just as the circle of fifths confirms, C major has no sharps or flats, and its parallel key is A minor. So we know how to play C major. Therefore, we know how to play A minor. Notice all I had to do to play A minor was start on A and then go through the C major scale back to A. I just had to be careful to play the right sharps and flats in the scale for the parallel minor. Continuing on the circle of fifths, we can see G has the next number of sharps. And with that, we see our first sharp in the circle of fifths. So beginning on G, let's find our G major scale using the major scale formula. G, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Remember our exception here. E to F would be a half step, and we need a whole step. So two halves make a whole. Our next note will not be F, but F sharp. So let's play G major once more with this exception in mind. G, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step. So we've just proven what the circle of fifths shows us for the G major scale, and that is it has one sharp. And we can see the parallel key is E minor. So all I have to do is play all the keys in G major using all the sharps and flats, if any, when going up through the scale. So starting on E, so let's play all the notes up to E in the next octave, minding our sharps. So starting on E, we're playing E minor, the parallel key to G major. Did you see that? We used all the notes in G major. Continuing on the circle of fifths, we can see that our next scale is D major, and it should have two sharps. Let's use our major scale formula once more to see if this is true. So beginning on D, let's use the major scale formula. D, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step. D major. So now we have confirmed, just as the circle of fifths has shown to us, that D major has two sharps, C and F, C sharp and F sharp. And its parallel key is B minor. So now we know how to play D major with two sharps. We now know how to play B minor. So let's play all the notes that we would play in D major to play B minor. Starting on B, let's mind our sharps. B, C sharp, F sharp, and back to B. B minor, once more. Going further onto the circle of fifths, we can see that the next key in our progression has three sharps, and that should be our A major scale. So let's begin on A and use our major scale formula once more. A, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step. A major. So we have three sharps in A major. C sharp, that's our first. F sharp, our second. G sharp, our third. And back to A. So A major has three sharps, and its parallel minor is F sharp minor. So all we have to do for F sharp minor is to play all the notes starting from F sharp all the way up to F sharp in the next octave, minding our sharps that we've seen in A major. So starting on F sharp, F sharp minor. So we have the same sharps that we saw in A major. F sharp, G sharp, and C sharp. Back to F sharp. Moving along, we have E major in our circle of fifths. This time we should have 4 sharps. Now, if you haven't already noticed, as we go down the circle of fifths, we're using all of the same sharps we had in our previous scales and adding on to it. Like in G major, we had F sharp, and D major, we also had F sharp, but additionally, we had C sharp. And this continued on to A major. We already had F sharp and C sharp from D major, but we're adding another sharp in our A major scale. And in A major, we added G sharp. And this pattern continues throughout the circle of fifths. We are now on E major. Let's use our major scale formula on E and find our sharps. Starting on E, E, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step. Once more. So this time in E major, we had 4 sharps. F sharp, our first sharp from D major, G sharp from A major, C sharp from D major, and D sharp from our E major. E major. In E major, our parallel minor would then be C sharp minor. To play C sharp minor, we would play all the keys inherited from E major. However, we start on C sharp. Starting on C sharp, let's play all the notes we found from E major. C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, C sharp minor. Continuing further, we now have B major. This time we should expect everything from the previous scales plus an additional sharp. We are inheriting everything from E major. B major. Starting on B, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. B major. The parallel minor to B major would be A flat minor. Don't let the flat discourage you to play this scale. Remember, all we are doing is taking all the notes we found from B major. However, this time we are not starting on B. We are starting on A flat. A flat is also G sharp. Remember from our E major scale, we found there was a G sharp. So A flat is just G sharp. Starting on A flat, also known as G sharp, let's count up through the scale as we would play B major, but this time starting on A flat or G sharp. A flat, A flat. Our A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and back to A flat, or G sharp. By now you should be comfortable with finding the rest of our keys on the circle of fifths. Just use our major scale formula and you can derive the notes in the key. It is highly encouraged that you find these on your own and practice the ones we've just done in this video. Being comfortable with our scale is very important when we want to construct a song. It's useful for making a melody and putting together our chord progressions. So please go ahead and try and do these on your own and review the ones we did. Even if we cannot recall the notes in a key, for example, for D major, we know that our first sharp is F sharp and our second sharp is C sharp. Just as long as we can remember the order of the sharps, we can get the notes in the key, as in D major. What if I decided I need to write a song in E major? However, I forgot which notes are sharp. As long as I can remember from the circle of fifths that the first sharp was F, the second sharp was C, and the third was G, I can now recall the notes from E major.